Okay, so this is the first official podcast. We're going to call it the 5-9 podcast. And this is sort of establishing, you know, what this is about and just kind of what to expect going forward. So I'm doing this is I've done podcasts in the past. So this is my first time doing one um, completely uh, solo. And so basically, like I said, I want to probably use this platform to sort of discuss the film industry, um, state of work, or we'll say lack thereof at this point, and just we'll use it to kind of talk about um, sort of creative things that I'm into. I'm gonna have a premium version of this where the more political, the more spicy topics that aren't really allowed on Facebook, I'm going to put those there. But today we're just going to keep it light and simple. And each episode is going to be dropping every Friday. I'm going to do my best, but I figure I'm going to get ahead of it today because we're going to record today, so that way, well, at least it'll be in there. So sometimes I might, record an episode on Thursday. Um, and if I can, I'll do an episode, on Friday. Um, but I'm going to try to, adhere to a Friday schedule. Um, this podcast was conceived pretty much as like Facebook, Facebook Live. Um, I'm trying to get it on Instagram, and I think I'm probably going to try to do a YouTube version of this. But as you see, like the background that I'm using right here is from Prospect Studios. I work there as a set lighting technician, and so I worked there, on the show called Grey's Anatomy, and worked there for a couple seasons, and it was a really cool experience. And so like so so a little bit about me, if you don't already know who I am. My name is Robert McTyre, a set lighting technician. Um, due to a lot of things that has happened currently, um, I haven't worked this year in set lighting. I've been working at actually a mental ward, watching psychiatric patients, and I do various other security work. So, so I'm like, well, you got to pay the bills somehow, and I'm also, endeavoring to still be creative, and I'm, working on, various things. But I always wanted to do a podcast, and I always wanted to do something, but I also, I never really liked the whole go live feature, and I wanted to have a background, and I wanted to be, I just wanted to be really interesting, and kind of just show, kind of, you know, talk about the world I worked in. Um, so some of you may have noticed, I'm going to switch gears a little bit, but some of you have noticed that. Um, well, let me backtrack a little bit. Eventually, what I'm going to do is have call in. I'm going to, have a call in number where people can come in and, interact, and, real time. It's going to be really cool. Um, Questions and polls, and, be able to discuss whatever, latest movies that are coming out. Um, but real quick, what I want to touch on is the stock market. I posted a picture of I bought stock in Celsius today, and you know, up to a couple days ago, I didn't know anything about the stock market. And I think that, you know, with, you know, Social Security probably not being funded um, in the next 10 years, I think the stock market is a good place to invest money because the based off of, because it's obviously extremely volatile, and it's a very easy way to lose money. 90% of people, they do lose money in the stock market, but the interest that occurs in sort of in a long-term, you know, play, depending on what you invest in, um, can be beneficial. So I started investing. Um, do your research, but again, there are certain stocks that constantly come up, like um, Berkshire Hathaway. You can buy fractional stocks now, and um, AI and technology and law enforcement, um, hospitals, Medicare. Um, like those aren't really going anywhere. Those are very stable companies. So, you know, I'm not, I'm a consider myself a baby investor, but you know, it used to be a time where you had to contact a broker and yeah, and it would actually be you know really complicated. But today, there's apps like Robinhood and Schwab, and I mean it's really user friendly. But but there's a saying that you know the uh, well the worst time to get into stocks. Well, the best time to get into stocks was yesterday. The best time is today. So either way, as long as you get started, um, I kind of wish that I would have gotten into uh, investing in stocks earlier because the thing is like with inflation going the way it is, um, you could buy a stock, you know, for like $2 a share. Like I'm talking like for Costco. Costco's now trading at like $1,000 a share. Netflix is $1,000 a share. So, you know, these are things that I already that I use, and I think if I had been more like into it or more aware, I've definitely bought up um shoot hundreds of shares of that. And you know, but still, as long as you start somewhere. Um, but I think the key to um, definitely trying to build and outside of having a normal 9 to 5 job is definitely investing in the stock market. Um, so like I say, I would definitely now as far as cryptocurrency, I'm still learning about that. Bitcoin is now like at $87,000 per Bitcoin, and I remember hearing about Bitcoin back in 2009. Um, Again, you know, you know, these things are like you hear about these things, but it's never like a practical thing of like, okay, well, how do you invest? What do you do? You know, how do you fund a broker account? Um, but with you can even invest using Cash App now. So you know I would say if anybody's watching this, the takeaway is to definitely you know start small. um, I personally am into technology, um, but I would say invest in things that um, but I think there are resources out there. You got the internet, so but there are certain stocks right now that are growth stocks, and that you know, like Nvidia right now is really like they're putting Nvidia tech in all the technology, like your video games, your uh, you know um, VR, um, AI. Nvidia is going to be really big, as well as Micron. Micron um, is a company that's developing microchips that will eventually be used to power the next, AI. And I think robotics is definitely a field that robotics, supercomputers, um, you know, uh, drones, definitely something you guys might want to consider looking into, especially as it relates to defense. Tesla, you know, say what you want about Elon Musk, but you know, I will say that it's still a pretty solid company. I mean, they're not just cars; they're aerospace and and energy and sort of things of that nature. But I'm going to wrap this up. Um, but if you guys have any comments, I definitely would like to hear what you think of this format or ideas um, uh, going forward. Um, but like I say, you know, sometimes it'll be like, I'll have I also am busy doing other stuff, uh, but I do enjoy making time to, you know, hop on, uh, talk to you guys, and just kind of exchange ideas. But anyways, I'll talk to you guys in the future. Take care. Peace.